Hi, this is the video to the blog post how to bring Office 365 incidents, or let's say information about service degradation or downs, to Provance ITSM. And I have my Office subscription here, and if we go to Admin Centers, there is a special area here. It's Health, and when we go to Service Health, we see there are currently one advisory for the portal, one for SharePoint Online, and two for Skype for Business. So what we want is we want to bring this, and I'm now switching to my ITSM environment. We want to have ITSM notifications. So whenever we open an incident to a particular customer, and I'm just opening one now. Let's take an incident, one of my demo incidents here. And this incident is for a customer called Northwind Traders. And when we open that, we want to know which services are in trouble so that we can proactively react on that. So currently we get no information on that, but what we want is we want to bring this information into ITSM. Therefore, we're using an Azure Automation account, and there is this runbook which pulls the data on the one hand from Office 365 and pushes it into ITSM. So let's go through that code, which you will find on the blog post as well. So the first thing we are doing here is we are importing modules, and one of them is the O365 Service Communications module, which is written by a guy, and he published this to the Provance gallery, to the PowerShell gallery. And I'm simply using that to receive this information. And then we're using the Provance toolbox, which is the Provance.in365 module and Provance.azure. These modules need to be installed before we run that runbook. And you will see that by going to modules, and you see all of them are installed. If they are not installed, simply browse the gallery and you can just search for O365 and you will find this one. Just click on it and install it with the import tool of Azure Automation. So back to our runbook. And I'm going into edit mode so we can see that better. So we're importing all the runbooks. Then we are creating a credential object to authenticate against the Office 365 portal. And then we're opening a new session, and this command is coming from this module here. We're opening a new session to the portal. The next piece is we are authenticating to Provance ITSM. Therefore, we need the tenant ID, we need the resource ID, the resource URL, and we need a username password combination. So we can create a ITSM token with this command here. The next piece is we are reading all events, so all these notifications here with a filter, and the filter is saying we don't like the ones where the service is restored. We just want to see ones where the service is still in trouble. So when we have that, we store it in this variable incidents. And then we loop through each of them. So actually we should get 4. So for every of these 4 objects, I'm creating an incidents property list because I need to sort those properties. So we have an affected health status internal name. We have an affected health status service feature name. So we're simply collecting all those properties and write it in a nice hash table. So we have useful um, properties like service name, service feature name, and so on. We need those to transform them into the information which we write into ITSM. And therefore, we create another hash table called notification body. Because if you look at an ITSM notification, this is in Provance settings notifications, because you could create them on your own manually as well. It has also a text, display start time, display end time, visibility, notification type, and so on. So we need to collect those properties that we can create a notification in the correct way. So we construct a name. So we take the service name and we add the service feature name. We add the status and we add the incident ID here. So, and this is all coming from this wonderful hash table we created first. So there will be a long name that tells us what happens and what is the ID from Microsoft. We have a display start time, display end time. This means when there is an end time, the notification will only show inside inside this time frame. Then the public visibility is false, so it should only show up filtered. What this means is that it keeps private and there are filters, because what we want is only want to show it for a particular account. And this is Northwind Traders in our case. The type is something you need to dig out of the option set. So I did this for you. Notification type is a warning, as far as I can remember. And finally, global or not. And with that, we finish the script now. So the first thing we do is here, when we have all this data, we are looking for the account and we filter the account by its name, and the name is Northwind Traders. So when we have this account, we are checking if the notification is already in. So this line here just says if this particular notification is already in the system, don't create it anymore. So otherwise you will have duplicate record. And if it's not, we create a new entity, which is a entity type ITSM notifications, and we're using the body hash table we have created here. So with name, display name, start time, display end time, and so on. And when that's done, we have the notification in this variable and the account in this variable. And then we can relate with this relationship. That's a very long name, so you will see it in the script. We are relating the primary entity, which is the account, with the related entity, which is notification, by its ID. And that's it. And so we publish this runbook. And as you can see, there is still no notification in. Simply refresh the screen. I start this now. There are no input parameters. So the runbook is started. It's actually in the queue status. Just to remind you again, just let's pick one of them. There is LY144802. And this one should show up with the other four as notification. Let's see what is the status. It's completed, and if we now refresh this screen, the notification has been created. and here is the one we just looked at. If we now go to an incident or any other record where Northwind Traders is linked, and in this case, this incident is one of them, we open the ticket. And based on the relationship between notification and the account, we see there are these 4 warnings. So when the customer calls you, you can already tell them, we know there is something in Office 365, so we are working on that. Yeah, that's it. You will find the source code on the blog, and if you have any questions, just post us at support@provance.com.